Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Yes Prep Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event with us today. We have some fantastic schools here with us. My name is Sarah. I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can, however, use the Q&A button to ask your questions. It's right on your screen. We encourage you to do so. And if you have questions for a particular institution, go ahead and list that institution's name right in there so they can get to those questions a bit faster for you. This is just one of many different sessions happening today, so be sure to check the schedule on the website for more. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/yesprep. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Arcadia University.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Devin Miller, and I'm a senior admissions counselor here at Arcadia University. For those of you that aren't familiar with Arcadia, I wanted to start by just giving you a little bit of an overview of campus and where we're located. Arcadia is located in Glenside, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia. So we are in a suburb, but we're about 20 to 25 minutes north of Center City, and we actually have a train station right in Glenside that takes students into Center City. So it's a really nice kind of best of both worlds dual environment that we offer. Campus itself is not too large. We have just over 2,100 undergraduate students and about 1,300 graduate students on campus. So it's a really kind of nice, close, tight-knit community. You really get that feel when you're walking around campus. We do have a castle, as you can see, so that's always kind of a highlight on campus. My office is in there, so I can't complain too much about coming to work every day. But at Arcadia, you'll find that we really utilize both campus and our surrounding area as a tool for students' education. So we're always looking for ways that we can get students engaged with our local community, but also with the city of Philadelphia through coursework and internships, but also socially just sponsoring a lot of fun events into the city and the surrounding area to get students out and off campus and experiencing what Philly has to offer. In terms of academics at Arcadia, you can see on the slide here, we have more than 65 fields of study. So there's a wide variety from the arts and sciences to the humanities to the social sciences. And a lot more that you can kind of customize your academic path. We have a lot of students who are doing double majors or majors and minors on campus. Our most popular majors right now are biology, psychology, and business, with our arts programs kind of right behind that. And we do have really strong graduate programs in physical therapy, physician assistant, and forensic science. So students actually have 4+2 pathways to earn their graduate degrees in those programs, as well as some others on campus. So there's a lot of opportunity for varying interests here at Arcadia. And you can see, like I said, we are a smaller school, so our average class size is a little bit smaller. You'll never have a class that's larger than about 30 students at any time during your undergraduate studies here. So we really like to keep those courses a little bit smaller, helping you build relationships with your peers and your professors in the classroom during your studies. We also have a pretty vibrant student life at Arcadia, even though we are a smaller school. So you can see here we have 26 Division III athletic teams, so a wide variety of sports if you're interested in playing at the collegiate level or just going out to support the Arcadia Knights. The Knight is our mascot. We are a Division III school, so we really have a big emphasis on students kind of being students first and athletes second, so really helping you balance your academics with your sports. We also have about 15 intramural sports, so if you just wanted to stay active and have some fun with friends on campus, you can sign up for any of our intramural sports too. And then there are about 60 different student clubs and organizations on campus that students can take advantage of. So I always strongly encourage that everyone get as involved as you can on campus and make those connections with other students through those different organizations. And we are a largely residential school, so most students are spending the majority of their time on campus. About 80% of students do live on campus, and there's a variety of housing options between traditional residence halls, suite style housing, and apartment style housing on campus. So there's always a place for you. We do guarantee housing for all 4 years for students. And for that reason, we always want to make sure that there's stuff happening on campus or events that we're sponsoring off campus for students to do and really get involved in our community while you're here. And then the last thing that I want to touch on before I briefly talk about the admissions process is Arcadia's study abroad opportunities. We are pretty well known for our participation in study abroad. So if anyone's thinking about taking advantage of global opportunities and really kind of getting a more global education while you're in college, Arcadia is a really great place to do that. You can see the majority of our students do use their passports before they graduate. And our last graduating, or our class of 2020, earned credit from 39 different countries. So a pretty wide global footprint. And we actually offer a program for first-year students where you can study abroad over your spring break of your first year through a course that you take on campus. And it's called our Spring Preview program. So all of our students in their first year will typically go to one of 12 different locations during their first year to kind of have an introduction to that world of study abroad. Really early on, and then many students go on to do other programs after for both short-term and long-term experiences. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is just our admissions process at Arcadia. You can submit an application to us through the Common Application or the Coalition for College application. And then the only other required credentials for students are your high school transcript and a letter of recommendation from either a teacher or a school counselor. You do have the option to submit an essay and a resume, which I strongly encourage students to do. It just gives us some more insight into who you are and some more context for what we're reading on your application so we can make more of an informed decision. We also review you for scholarships automatically when you apply. So the essay and resume piece are also helpful in making our scholarship determinations. We are test optional, so you're not required to submit your SAT or ACT scores. And I don't necessarily recommend, will never hurt your application if you do submit them. We'll only use them if they can help your application, so you don't have to worry too much about the scores, but it's just one less thing that you need to, take care of. So I don't necessarily recommend submitting them to us. One less thing you have to worry about. If anyone's interested in any art or acting programs, there is an additional step to do a portfolio review or an acting audition. But that is just a high-level overview of Arcadia for you. My contact information is up here on the screen, and I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Babson College.
Well, hi, everybody. It's so great to see you virtually, and I'm excited to share a little bit about Babson College with you today. My name is Ryan. I'm on the admissions staff at Babson. We are a small business undergraduate university just outside the city of Boston, Massachusetts. So we're about 10 miles west of the city of Boston. We're in a direct suburb of Boston called Wellesley, Massachusetts. As you can see, this is the center of our campus. These are both academic buildings as well as first-year residence halls. And of course, this picture is apt right now because it is the fall season up here in New England, and some of the fall foliage is finally happening. So you might not know a lot about Babson College because we tend to attract students who are particularly interested in studying some type of business. This is sort of our short mission statement. We talk a lot about entrepreneurial leadership, creating, growing, stewarding things that are going to actually create social value and affect change. And how can we use business skill sets to affect that change, to solve problems around the world? So being a small college, we're about 2,400 undergraduate students. So each class year at Babson is about somewhere between 600 and 650 students. So it's definitely unique if you're thinking about business colleges or maybe studying business in general. There aren't a lot of top-ranked business programs like us that are also small by themselves, where you really get that sort of intimate community experience with the business curriculum, with an alumni network that is solely really just concentrated and focused in the business world. So it can be very exciting in that regard. So our big ranking here at Babson is #1 for entrepreneurship. We've been that for 25 years in a row. So it's certainly our niche. It's what we do really well. But I think one of the things that we really need to debunk here is that entrepreneurship is not just about starting your own business. I think oftentimes, when I say to students, what do you think of when you think of an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial leader? And I get big famous tech entrepreneurs or just startups. That's one type of entrepreneurship. But for us at Babson, we take a worldly view on entrepreneurship, a wide view. Entrepreneurship's about solving problems. You might be interested in marketing or accounting or finance or real estate, international business, all these different types of business. You can and should be an entrepreneurial leader within each of those spaces. How do you move into an organization that already exists or a company that already exists in marketing, say, and be someone who can create change and someone who can actually make an impact on a team or an organization. So that's what Babson is all about. We teach sort of business in an innovative, creative way, just really with that entrepreneurial lens. And this is exactly it. Entrepreneurship of all kinds is sort of a phrase that we use at Babson. We talk about students being involved all across the board in the business world. This picture here on the screen is actually a picture of one of our first-year classes at Babson. So everyone at Babson is in a Bachelor of Science degree with a focus in business. It's very much a business management, a management-heavy degree. And then from there, you choose up to 2 different concentration areas to focus in, depending on your interest area within business. This team right here is actually one of the foundations of management and entrepreneurship teams. So everybody starts in this class called FME at Babson, where you start a business with seed funding from Babson. So we fund these early sort of stage micro startups, if you will, to not because everyone's going to go on to start their own business, but because we begin to introduce you to this entrepreneurial mindset right away. How to think creatively, how to pivot effectively, how to create something from scratch, whether that's a business or just some other idea you might ultimately employ in your working world someday. So everyone takes that class. You see an idea all the way through from market research, rocket pitching to feasibility pitching to actually writing your business plan. And then you come back to that second semester in your first year and you run that business on campus in Boston, on the internet, whatever your business model is, and you get to try out different roles within a company. And it's a really great way to explore in your first year what you ultimately might want to concentrate in at Babson. You can see we have 25 different concentrations. So everyone is in that Bachelor of Science degree in business, and then they're choosing up to 2 of those concentrations. So you might say, I want to do the finance or the accounting, or you know what, I'm actually really interested in climate change issues, or I want to concentrate in entrepreneurial sustainability at Babson. That's one of our areas, but I want to pair that with a business skill set. You can study literary and visual arts, or history and political studies, technology and design, legal studies at Babson, but it all happens under that big business umbrella. So of course you have to be interested in a business education, but there are so many different directions that you can go. We have a partnership in our town. Wellesley College is just down the road from Babson, very well-known private women's liberal arts college. A lot of our students take classes there, as well as at Olin College of Engineering, right next door to Babson. We share a gate on the backside of campus, and students are doing certificates in engineering there, or just a couple of courses in design or engineering, whatever your interest area may be. So that's a really great resource because we're 3 very different colleges. And as we come up on my 6 minutes, just to show you some pictures of campus, because I know we're doing all these fairs virtually, you can't always be on a campus and see exactly what it looks like. These are sort of 2 of our newer spaces, some really great finance labs, if that's your interest in business. This is one of the central study areas on campus. This is the entrance to our library building. And just briefly about the admission process before I finish up, we are a common application college here at Babson. We're also a test optional college. About half of the students who were admitted to Babson last year did not have testing as part of their application. So it's very common to apply without testing and common to apply with testing. So it just depends on what your particular situation is. We want to see the best picture that you have as an applicant. We want to see what you think really speaks to what your strengths are as a student. November 1st is our first deadline. We've got all the application rounds, early decision, early action, and our regular decision application round in January as
Great.
well.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I encourage you to put some information in the chat for folks, but we are going to move on to Baldwin Wallace University next. You're actually muted. Yep, there we go.
There we go. I had to be the first one to do it. Hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your junior and senior year. Appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about the different colleges today. My name is Matthew Miller. I am with Baldwin Wallace University, and we are located in Berea, Ohio, which is the suburb southwest of Cleveland. If you were to fly in, we are about a mile to about a mile and a half away from the Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, and just about 20 minutes from Cleveland itself. We are a small liberal arts institution. There are around 3,400 students total at Baldwin Wallace University, and I represent the Conservatory of Music, which is approximately 10% of the BW undergraduate population. So about 300 to 320 students at any particular time. You'll see on the screen a list of different degree options that we offer within the conservatory. Our largest degree program is performance. That's both instrumental and classical voice performance. Our second largest degree program is music education, along with music therapy. Both of those degree programs get our students out in the field immediately. You will leave with 4 years of work experience on your resume for music education or music therapy. You'll also study privately on an instrument of choice that you'll audition on as part of the admission process. What we're probably most well known for at Baldwin Wallace, at least across the country, is our music theater program. We have one of the top music theater programs in the country. Ours is a bit unique in that it is a Bachelor of Music and not a BFA. So there's enhanced concentration on music, about the same amount of music theater and dance content as you would get in the BFA, just additional music content as part of the BM program. We also have a unique music theater direction program where folks come in and audition on piano and work as music directors alongside our music theater program. We also offer composition, music theory, music history, and literature. And we have a Bachelor of Arts in music for folks that want a little bit more of a choose your own experience, choose your own adventure experience in music, or maybe only 50% of your courses are music specific, but you're still in private lessons built into your experience. Two of our business-related programs at Baldwin Wallace that still have a foot in the conservatory are very popular options as minors or double majors or standalone majors. That would be arts management and entrepreneurship, which focuses on developing leadership skills across a broad artistic landscape in a nonprofit environment, and music industry, which focuses much more on the for-profit side of music, and things like streaming companies, record labels, agents. Those majors require 3 internships as a major. If you do it as a minor, you have the ability to do 1 internship and add some additional work experience to your resume. At Baldwin Wallace, we also feel that every student at the university, all 3,400 students, have an opportunity to participate in our conservatory of music in whichever way would make the most sense for them. We have students coming in as standalone majors in the conservatory, but we also encourage folks to double major, both inside and outside the conservatory, to exercise different areas of their brain and develop the skill sets they think will be necessary for their industry of choice. We also have a minor in music that folks can easily add. It's about 22 credit hours of music classes they can build into their curriculum. We also have a number of electives that folks can use, and also the ability to audition for all of our ensembles and shows, regardless of major at Baldwin Wallace. Some of the things we think that makes our conservatory unique is that we are wrapped by a liberal arts university. As I mentioned, there's 86 other degree programs outside the conservatory where you can take elective courses, where you'll take your liberal arts requirements, where you have the ability to double major. And should your path change while you're in our conservatory, it's about a 15-minute email process to switch to one of the liberal arts programs if you decide that's a better fit for you at that time. We're also an all undergraduate conservatory, which means that all of our classes are taught by faculty. There are no graduate students teaching our courses or that you'd be competing with the audition process. We will typically offer over 300 performances, at least in the non-COVID year, for folks to participate in, and everybody on stage is an undergraduate student. It's lessons with specialized faculty, including 10 members of the Cleveland Orchestra, one of the world's premier orchestras, are faculty members on our instrumental side. We've been named one of the top 10 liberal arts colleges in the country, and Billboard last April named us one of the top 10 music business schools in the country. And recently we formed an affiliation. We became an educational affiliate with the Grammy Museum, one of 22 schools in the country. We've won first place for our National Opera Association production. You can see a picture of one of those on there. And as I mentioned, we're rated consistently one of the top music theater programs in the country. And we have the oldest collegiate Bach Festival in the country. We're hoping to have our 90th annual this April. We have a number of different ensembles that students can participate in. Once again, regardless of major, you can come in and audition for our choral ensembles or our instrumental ensembles. And then we also have a number of leadership opportunities that you can participate in. We have a BW Beatles concert that's completely run by students. They cover a full Beatles album. If you ever want to hear a classically trained opera singer belt out Let It Be, this is your chance. We focus on entrepreneurship. It's a required course in the conservatory, and then you can add additional courses as well. And we have a Focus Festival, which focuses on performing new works that are created by our students. They have a chance to perform those on our various stages. As part of the process, we do accept the Common App, where you can apply directly to BW. When you are going through a conservatory process, there is an audition process. And for us, we are first come, first serve based on when we receive your application and when we process your audition fee or an audition fee waiver that we'll more than happy to provide you if that's something that would be a financial obstacle to cover. There are no pre-screens required in our program, so you can just move through the process, apply, and select an opportunity. Financial aid does exist both for merit based on your GPA as well as based on your audition, and then we'll look at your FAFSA to see if there's additional ways that we can help you out. And you can find our suggested repertoire on the website. Our application deadlines are coming up soon, November 1st, followed by January 15th. We'll have decisions then in December or March. And we will provide decisions, everybody, and you have a chance to let us know by May 1. So thank you for the time today, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Providence College.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm just gonna share my screen here quickly. We'll get right underway. So my name is Juan Velez. Right now, I am in this building that you are seeing on your screen. This is Harkins Hall, the original Providence College from 1917. Sorry, I'm misclicked there. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Providence College is a small small to medium-sized liberal arts school located here in Providence, Rhode Island. We do contain a plethora of other majors, though, that I will get into. So here's a picture, just to go with the theme here, virtual tour. So we'll give a bit of pictures of campus as well. And here's some fast facts. So like I mentioned, we're founded in 1917. We're the only school run by the Dominican friars, which will definitely play out heavily within a student's career here. We do have some small requirements within theology. However, we're not restricted to religious affiliation. So students who are not Catholic are more than welcome to come here. So like I said, small to medium size, around 4,000 undergraduates. However, this is undergraduate focused. Though I am a graduate student here speaking to you about the school, we do not have graduate students teaching any courses, nor will they be offering any type of tutoring as well. So tutoring is done from peer to peer, as well as faculty to peer, a little bit female dominant here. And this statistic is one that we like to boast the most. 91% of first year students return for sophomore year. And that is this most recent year. So yes, that it was a bunch of students who didn't even get to really step on campus too often. Like I mentioned prior, the school is pretty small. So the average class size is around 22 students, though it is worth noting that for one of our core requirements, you do have a lecture-based class, which will combine 3 course sections. So that's a bit larger. However, you still have your smaller meetings with professors, which can be discussed prior. So we have an extensive list of majors here. We have School of Arts and Sciences, School of Business, which is our most popular school. I think it hosts around 34 to 35% of undergraduates, and the rest are kind of evenly dispersed between the other majors. Also very easy to pick up minors here. Simple 1, 2, 3 step process to minor in anything, whether it's within the same school or outside of the school that you are already majoring in. It's also worth noting that you apply to Providence College as an entire institution, so you don't have to directly apply to the School of Arts, the School of Business, etc. Though if you do wish to come in as a music and or theater major, you can audition prior to your undergraduate year beginning, just because there are some shows that start. Sorry there. Yeah, so as I mentioned prior, all classes are taught by faculty, and it's a very undergraduate focused, meaning that when faculty comes looking for people to help with projects, they go to undergraduate students, which leads to a high amount of students taking part in research and even being listed and named on papers that are later published. I know personally multiple students who spent the entire summer working with research and helping out professors, even tutoring. Sorry about that. So now just to get into the Dominican difference here. So our school title is a play on words, Providence meaning truth, and that is what the Friars really stand for. So they kind of help bring in this aspect of helping students communicate, helping students kind of share in diversity of thought. And that's really important here at Providence College. There's Friars within almost every single department here. I like to say that it's almost impossible to get out of here without having a class taught by a Friar, which is a good thing. They definitely help you broaden your mind and, just bring in those valuable conversations, regardless of whether or not you participate in the Catholic religion. The Center at Moore Hall is something that we really take pride in. This is one of our most recent buildings here on campus. It shows our commitment to diversity and inclusion, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, just building a community that's helpful and resourceful for all students. There's a 24-hour kitchen in there, and it's really just kind of become a stronghold of student life that there's also some classes taught in there that we really like to expand upon. And if anybody comes here for a tour, you're most likely going to begin your tour in this building. This here, oh, sorry about that. This lists some of the programs that are involved with Moore and just for first year students. Again, all helpful to anybody who's trying to transition from a different community, regardless of any resources. So yeah, I'm running low on time here, but any questions, feel free to let me know. We take the Common App, and our deadlines are coming up soon. Our regular decision deadline will be January 1st. So yes, feel free to ask me any questions, and I hope everyone has a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Great reminder to put some questions in the Q&A if you have any. And next up, we have Verto Education.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cherie Davis. I'm with Verto Education. Let me just start my presentation here. 1 second. What do I have? So Verto Education is actually an alternative start to college. It's a first year only program. So you can do your first semester or your first year of college with us overseas. I'm trying to start my presentation and I'm sorry that.
You click slideshow and then, yep, there we go.
Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. So we currently have semesters in England, Italy, Spain, Costa Rica, and Hawaii. We have 650 students currently living and learning in those areas. And we want them to be able to build a personal connection with that place versus just being a tourist. So this is about really experiencing the culture there, exploring the region, and making it part of your college experience. But it also includes academic coursework. So while we do want you to explore the culture, to have the experience of travel, and we want it to be a real world experience for you, we do have a very serious academic component as well. But it's very experiential. We're fewer focus on tests, exams, lectures, and more focus on project-based classes, co-curricular classes, group projects, and what we call experiential learning. So here's some pictures of just a few students, what they actually do, hands-on learning in our classroom, which we believe that the world is your classroom. So this is just a few pictures. I don't want to lose any time by explaining them too much, but I'll go back over if anybody has any questions. We think that your first year of college is really a time of discovery for yourself and the world around you. So that's what we want to focus on. We want to challenge you. We want you to experience, more of the world and find your why through our programs. And it's also a great way to learn life skills by getting out there in the real world and develop some global citizenship. And we also work with you career planning and college planning. So how does this all work? So when you apply, if you want to do this, what you do is you complete your Verto application. with just submitting your transcript and a 500-word writing sample. We will review your application and get back to you in 48 hours. It's a rolling admission policy process. We do not have a set deadline or anything like that. After we review your application, we will get back with you within 48 hours. That is our goal, okay? And we reach out to you and we talk to you about what semester works best for you. I mentioned the 5 semesters that we have, or the 5 locations that we have. And we will talk to you about what your academic and college goals are. Also, when you do apply for us, when you get to that step of receiving your decision and you've been accepted, we also help you with your college application process. So we have partner colleges, and this is just a short list. This is not the full list. If you go to our website, you can review the full list. About 68, I think, is where we are now. When you apply for us, you can apply for any of these colleges at the same time, and you receive your acceptance even before you start our program. And then when you come back from our semester or our year abroad, you will go in either as a second semester freshman or a sophomore at one of our partner colleges. However, all right, so anyways, this is just a little bit more about that. With those colleges, we have a transfer guarantee. Our goal is to help make sure that you are staying on track to graduate within 4 years. Although you did take this semester or a year off, in a manner of speaking, you're still taking classes, as I mentioned, and you're still staying on track to graduate within the 4 years from either one of our partner colleges or even non-partner colleges. We will definitely help you out with that. Let's say you're not interested in any of those almost 70 colleges. There's a lot of great universities in our country. So we will definitely work with you post-Verto what your plans are. We will help you and coordinate with the college that you are interested in applying for to make sure that your credits will transfer, and try to design a plan for you that will work, that will make sure you're taking the correct courses for your path. We don't have any specific majors or any set pathways. So you don't have to declare a major or have a certain major to do our program. We are focusing on general education type courses that you would probably be taking during your first year of college, regardless of what your major is, but we also want to make sure that it is in line with what your plans are in college. Also, we do provide financial assistance. We also accept FAFSA, and we have a grant of up to $12,000 for any semester. We provide financial aid advisors to support you, and we also work with your partner college, any scholarships or anything they may have available as well. So our goal, really the reason why Verto began in 2017, it's only been about 5 years, is to help more students be able to study abroad that want to have that experience. A lot of times it may be just one class a semester or a summer abroad or something like that, but we want to try to help make that an experience for as many students as possible. That's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll put my contact info in the chat because I didn't get that slide. So.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have
you.
Westminster College, Missouri.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm super happy that you could join us today. First of all, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Lane Hume. I am a regional admissions counselor with Westminster College. So I primarily work with students in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. So I'm going ahead and going to share my screen. I'm on the road, so I'm using my iPad, so you might get a quick glimpse of my dog as my screensaver. So I always like to just start off the presentation with a picture of campus. So this is the heart of our campus. What you're looking at here is a Christopher Wren church, and then what's actually the largest piece of the Berlin Wall in all of North America. And then the buildings behind it are our freshman quad. So that's where all of our freshmen, our incoming class lives there together. What's really cool is that Winston Churchill gave the Iron Curtain speech at Westminster back in 1946, which is a huge piece of fairly recent history. And in the basement of that church is a multi-million-dollar museum. It's the National Churchill Memorial. Basically what it is kind of like a presidential library, but for a prime minister. So one of the cool things that students have an opportunity to do on our campus is museum studies with the museum literally at your fingertips. So we actually have a student this year who has curated his own exhibit there as part of his thesis. And then another fun fact is that Gorbachev actually gave the speech that officially ended the Cold War at Westminster as well. So historically, we're essentially where the Cold War started and ended. So we kind of have that unique perspective. We have lots of tourists on campus all throughout the year. Just some fast facts. We do have a 98% success rate. So 98% of our students are in their field working or in graduate school within 6 months. We have a 10-to-1 student-teacher ratio. We do something really cool called the Hancock Symposium, and then really speaker series throughout the year. So actually before Churchill gave the Iron Curtain speech, we were really big into a lot of political speakers, but general speakers on campus. So we actually cancel classes for 2 full days in September. We bring in about 25 to 30 speakers from all around the world to talk about different topics. So these can be Nobel Prize recipients, they can be members of, pop culture references. A good example, we have the chief scientist of NASA last year, and then the year before that, our keynote speaker was Madeleine Albright. But we're a small school, so this is a very intimate experience. Many of our students get to meet these people face to face, ask them questions, have lunch with them. So it's really something that we do that very few other institutions are able to offer. We also do undergraduate scholars forums. So we have an entire day in the spring where, again, we don't have classes, but all of our students present the research that they've been working on. So similar to most of these other institutions, we're just an undergraduate school. So all of our resources are focused on that undergraduate research opportunity. So a lot of our students also publish papers and things with their professors and get really experiences that are otherwise hard to get at larger universities. We're located in Fulton, Missouri, so right in the heart and the central part of Missouri, about an hour and 30 minutes from St. Louis and 20 minutes from Jefferson City, the capital. But Fulton as a town was one of the Smithsonian top 15 best small towns just a couple of years ago. So it's kind of a fun, quirky little place. These are just our top programs of study. By no means is this everything we offer our students. I'll just highlight a couple. Pre-med is very popular primarily because we do have our own cadaver lab on campus, which is pretty rare for an undergraduate institution. So our students that are going to pre-med track usually take part in that human anatomy lab and they do the dissection themselves. So it's an entire year-long process. It really preps you well for med school. For political science, we actually have political science and pre-law, we actually offer a pre-law minor, which is fairly rare. And we offer law classes on our campus to help you prepare for that law experience. And then another really cool one is our self-design major. So about 15 to 20% of our students actually work with their academic advisor to create their own major. It can be a combination of things we offer. It can be things that we've never offered before. Some of our cool new majors are actually self-design majors that then grew really popular, like security studies. We do offer an honors program. It requires an extra essay, but no minimum ACT or anything like that. And then we are very well known for our learning differences program. So we provide really great one-on-one resources for students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, autism spectrum, anything like that. And we were actually one of the first schools in the country to do that. So quickly, student life, housing on campus is really the freshman quad and then townhomes and apartments. For residential, almost everybody lives on campus. Study abroad is very popular. Clubs and organizations, we have tons on campus. The Blue Blazers is our investment club. So that is a club that has their own stock portfolio. It's valued at over $1 million. And we're NCAA Division III athletics as well, and have sororities and fraternities. So in my last 30 seconds, I'll just quickly talk about visiting and applying. Of course, you can visit virtually and in person. We have a free application. We do accept the Common App. We do rolling admissions, so you hear back from us pretty quickly. We are test optional, and you still get considered for your scholarships, even without those test scores. So every single student that's admitted does get an academic scholarship of some sort. Here is my contact information. So if you want to take just a quick screenshot of that, my work cell is the easiest way to get a hold of me. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to invite all of our presenters to join me back on camera. What we do here is a round robin Q&A. I'm going to pose a couple questions or a question to our presenters and get their input and their expertise. So starting in the order of which you presented, so starting with Arcadia University, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
One of the biggest pieces of advice I always give is when you can to visit campus. There's such great opportunity to really get a feel for what student life is like when you're actually in the physical space that you're going to be spending your time in. So I always encourage to either visit campus, or if you can't, to ask to get connected with students and or faculty, because those are some of the best resources to give you insight into the campus community as you're going through the search.
Babson College.
Sort of on the other side of that coin as well, I would always suggest, like, especially right now, don't sleep on the virtual opportunities as well. So many of us who do this work, we come to college fairs, we love talking to you all. Because of COVID, we've had to pivot in so many different ways. So there's so many sort of extensive virtual opportunities, engagement opportunities for you right now. So definitely look at each of our websites and check those things out. Reach out to the admission office and just simply ask, what are those virtual opportunities, and there'll be a lot for you.
Baldwin Wallace University.
I would like to give maybe some advice specifically for anyone interested in the performing arts, because the process does move a little bit more rapidly, because there's about 50% of this process that you have to do, like booking an audition and understanding a private instructor and all those sorts of things. To look at camp opportunities, if they exist, both virtually or on campus at the institutions you're interested in, and request sample lessons from the institutions that you would plan to audition for, to see if you have an opportunity to work with somebody there, because that's a key relationship. You'll be spending anywhere from a half an hour to an hour one-on-one with that faculty member, that instructor, so you want to see if that's a good fit. So I'd recommend starting that process sometime in your junior year or early in your senior year if you can, to get it, make sure you have a good feel for who you'll be working with, to make sure it's a good fit.
Providence College.
Yeah, so I think my biggest piece of advice would definitely be to just ask the question that you're afraid to ask. And that's just like, whether it's you've heard something that you didn't want to hear about the school, whether it's something that you're scared to ask, whatever it may be, feel free to ask that question and find out, because this is your journey and it is where you will be attending school at the end of the day.
Verto Education.
Well, for us, because we are a little bit different start to your college experience, if you are seriously considering and interested in doing a study abroad program, don't shy away from really exploring that as a freshman year option, and consider that. It's not something that's very commonly done, but I encourage you to step out in faith in that and get out of your comfort zone if you can, when you're making these decisions.
Westminster College, Missouri.
I would say you need to do some what I call personal homework, and I like to call it soul searching. So as a student, sit down and make a list of the things that you're passionate about and that you're not willing to compromise on. And that doesn't always have to be an academic program. It can be a club or activity, but create a short list of those things and then use that to help guide you in the college search process, because that way you don't find yourself compromising and going to a school that actually won't be the best fit for you. But sometimes seeing that short list of the things that you want from an institution just makes the process a little bit easier for you. So sitting down and doing that and having that with you when you kind of look at institutions and go visit can be really helpful.
So very quickly, and we'll start again with Arcadia University. What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
So I think one of the big things is that even though Arcadia is a little bit of a smaller school, we have a very wide kind of global footprint. And if you're looking to really make connections and get a global education, whether that's in our community locally in Philadelphia or across the world, Arcadia is definitely a good place to kind of springboard into that.
Babson College.
Briefly for Babson, business mindsets to affect change in the world. Very global place, and we look at that. Almost 30% of the students at Babson are international students. It's a key piece of what we do.
Baldwin Wallace University.
One thing is that a lot of times folks wonder why you'd go study in suburban Ohio if your goal is to make it to Broadway, but we have a very strong track record of success in doing that. We've had 100% signing with agents for our music theater program over the past decade, and over 50 of our grads have made it to Broadway. So you can find places like BW where you can focus and work on your craft and still move to a larger metropolitan area after you graduate, if that's what you're looking to do.
Providence College.
I think the one thing I would have to go with would just be truth, and just finding that diversity of thought, and you will find your truth here at Providence, whether it's religious affiliated or not. It's definitely a big part of your journey here, and it's important no matter where you go to college, really.
Verto Education.
So with us, when you apply to study abroad, that doesn't mean you're not also applying for college. So I just want everyone to remember it's part of your application process with us. We want to make sure when you apply for us, you're also applying for college, so you already have that plan started as well.
Westminster College, Missouri.
We really want you to remember that at Westminster, it's more than just your, degree, not just a piece of paper. It's about, what type of a person you become and evolve into over 4 years. And we provide that type of experience that's focused on the big picture of who you are and not just that academic aspect.
Great, thank you so much. And I want to thank our presenters today for their insights, their information on their institutions, and thank you all for tuning in and joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check back to the schedule and sign up for more sessions, and you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/yesprep. Have a great rest of your day.